Hi, everybody. I'm Brittany Lewis, a breaking news reporter here at Forbes. Joining me now is contributing editor at Mediate, Sarah Rumpf. Sarah, thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks a lot, Brittany. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, and there is some big media news, so I brought you on to break it down for us. Last week, Washington Post owner Jeff Bezos blocked the paper's editorial board from endorsing Vice President Kamala Harris. On Friday, the Post publisher and CEO William Lewis wrote in an op-ed that the paper is, quote, returning to our roots of not endorsing presidential candidates. There's been significant fallout from this decision. What's your response?
You know, it's one of those things where if you do it ahead of time, it's fine. If you do it in the 11th hour, it smells really bad. And that's the situation we have here. When Jeff Bezos bought the Washington Post, he announced that the editorial page would continue to issue opinions, it would continue to have a variety of views on a variety of topics, but would not endorse any candidates. That would have been fine. If he had announced at the beginning of this election cycle that they were not going to do that anymore. But when you're literally days before the election and you're saying we're not going to issue an endorsement, the outcry is justified, in my opinion, because it starts looking like there's a real game being played here. And when you see it happening with other papers too, the LA Times, USA Today, all happening in October of an election year, when they have issued endorsements in the past, it starts to look like it's something that is specific for this election year, for a specific candidate who has made a lot of comments and has a lot of close allies who have made comments promising to punish the press who criticize him. So it doesn't really feel like people are being real free speech champions out there when they engage in this kind of thing.
And when there's reports that it was essentially the endorsement was written up, it sounded like all they needed to do was press send and publish and it would have gone up. But
Yeah.
It was chopped, like you said, in the 11th hour. Jeff Bezos, I think to your point, caught a lot of heat that this might smell a little funny. And he said that there was no quid pro quo. He also said that he didn't know that Dave Limp, the CEO of his company Blue Origin, was meeting with Donald Trump the exact same day that he decided to axe the endorsement. Coincidence or not, what do you think?
I think that's all true, and it also doesn't really matter. All of those things can be true. Jeff Bezos could have been 100% honest in every single word there. And that's not the point. The point is not that somebody with his company was meeting with Trump. I don't have any problem with that. He's got a bunch of different companies that are engaged in a bunch of different aspects of aerospace travel, commerce, all kinds of things. They want to meet with Donald Trump, go right ahead. It's a free country, they're free citizens, do it. And there doesn't have to be an explicit quid pro quo that we will not endorse, Vice President Kamala Harris, and if you're elected, you will give us X, Y, Z. It does not have to be that explicit. The danger in a lot of these things, and again, forgive me for putting my history nerd hat on, but throughout human history, when fascist movements have risen up, there's a pathway that they travel. And let me be very, very clear. I am not calling Trump Hitler. I am not calling him fascist. But I will say that a lot of the things that he has said and a lot of the things that his close circle have advocated for are things that put you on the path of fascism. And you don't necessarily have to demand a quid pro quo or, try to, throw a newspaper publisher in jail for it to be a problem. The mere aspect of, bowing down so that you don't upset the powerful person is the danger here. If a media outlet is afraid to criticize somebody powerful because they're worried about backlash, then their teeth aren't as sharp and their bite's not as strong. And that's, the purpose of the free press in this country is to hold the powerful accountable. And if you're afraid to criticize Donald Trump, if you're afraid to praise his opponent, then you're kind of missing the point of being part of the fourth estate in this country.